I really respect the argument that, your background as a district attorney, your 30-year experience is an asset that if you win the general election, you'll be able to bring to that office. But the concern I've heard when I've had conversations with folks about the Attorney General's race and really all of the Council of State races is, in order to make that change, you need to win the general election. And we've seen 2016, 2020, probably before that, before I was involved, these brutal elections at the state level that come down a lot to voter turnout and fundraising and messaging. And I hear your message that as Attorney General, you would have the background to hit the ground running. But I think when I've had conversations with folks about Jeff Jackson, what they've brought up is he's a world-class communicator and he's a world-class fundraiser. So the concern, or I guess the question I have is, should you win the primary, what makes you an even stronger candidate in the general election? Because if either it's you or Jeff Jackson, but if either of you lose, then we've got Dan Bishop. And that is going to be a massive gulf between any Democrat and Dan Bishop in that race, because then we'll have North Carolina joining Texas against the United States like we had in the Affordable Care Act, or against Pennsylvania when they challenged the legitimacy of the vote. So what will make you the strongest candidate in the general election, both for fundraising, for voter turnout, and if there's any other things that you think will contribute to your strength in that race?
First of all, I have been talking to y'all now for upwards of, how long we've been talking?
Oh, about 45 minutes.
45 minutes. Am I not a world-class communicator, Soren?
Good answer.
And I did not have, you're not hearing me world-class communicate at you in a pre-recorded message. As a 30-year litigator with a degree from Princeton, a JD and an MBA from Duke, world-class institutions, somebody who has a national legal reputation, somebody who has run large organizations, multi-million-dollar organizations, in many different disciplines, that people would not vote for me is ridiculous. 2, raising money. Nobody wants Dan Bishop to be the AG of North Carolina, except maybe Phil Berger and Dan Bishop. So there is money out, there will be money. I know that Jeff Jackson tells people, well, nobody's going to give her money. The truth is, lots of people will give me money. Democratic AGs Association has already committed $6 million to North Carolina media, irrespective of who the nominee is. That's not his money. Right. And so also, Dan Bishop versus Jeff Jackson, and I'm going to be really frank with you all, is 2 white guys in blue shirts. What is the difference between the 2 of them? Now, somebody's got to turn out voters. What do the voters in North Carolina look like? Right? You're going to have to get voters who don't normally come out to come out. And at the top of that ticket is Joe Biden, Josh Stein, and Jeff Jackson. You are going to get exactly the same thing that you got in 2016, that you got in 2020, that you got in 2012. Now, North Carolina Democrats love to romanticize 2008. And it was like, that's when they thought the tide was turning. But that's because they had a candidate that people got excited about. Anybody in this room excited about me today? And I show up. I've been in rural counties. I'm not just in Charlotte. I'm not just in Raleigh. I don't even think I've been to Raleigh, frankly, during this time. I've been to church in Raleigh. You're right. I've been to church in Raleigh, but I've also been to church in Wilmington and Pender County. And I went to Caldwell County this morning. I've been to Burgall. I have been places in North Carolina where Democrats never see a council of state candidate. Where I'm the first one they may have seen in years. We were in Columbus County, and they were like, I don't even see your literature. We don't even see literature. Forget seeing the actual candidate, right? We don't actually see literature. And so what I'm committed to is building those voters who will not normally come out. And that's not through social media. It's not through TikTok. That is through actual being on the ground. The only way that I've ever won has been by talking to people. Now, the other thing I will say is I am from the most Democratic county in this state. More people have already voted for me than have voted for Jeff Jackson in every election that he has run. So, and I'm not even trying to be funny. He ran in plus 10 D seat in the Senate and ran in a congressional district which was smaller than my county. My last election, 83% of voters in Durham County voted for me. I won every precinct. More people voted more Democrats voted in 2022 in Durham County than in all of Mecklenburg County. So I bring voters with me. I bring voters who voted for me before, who know what I stand for. 43% of Democratic voters are black. 60% are women. Most of those are women over 35. Hello. These are my people. And once people hear about me, they want to vote for me. Now, I haven't been in the race all year, but you will not have a clearer contrast in candidates than between me and Dan Bishop. People in North Carolina will never have a clearer choice. Mm-hmm.